Hi, if you've got a hot point or indesit-tumble-dryer, it looks like this, and if it's just not heating, so it's turning around, you can see all the clothes going around, but there's just no heat whatsoever, there's a very good chance that the heating element has gone. And you'll find it looks a little bit like this. Just before you scrap the appliance and go and buy a new one, I'm going to show you quickly how to change the heating element in your tumble dryer. First of all, get a Phillips screwdriver and just undo the two screws at the back. These are quite short screws, so it doesn't take long to take them out. Pop them in a safe place. Next thing you need to do, just get a flat bladed screwdriver and gently ease it at the back, so both sides. And all you'll find is it's releasing the clips at the front of the dryer. So, and then what you'll find is that the lid should come off quite easily. Next thing we need to do is to remove the side panel. So it's the right hand side. It has got a little R on the top. So you've got a handful of screws. So you've actually got, and these are really short screws as well. So you can see how short they are. So just be really careful to put those in a safe place. So you've got one on the top there, and then you've got 4 down the back. So just remove all these screws, because what we need to do is to remove this side panel. And now we've got the final screw out. Then just be really careful, because some of the metal can be really sharp around the edges. Now you can see here, I'll just show you this, that there's quite a bit of fluff and lint inside here. Now just before I put it all back together, I will give it a bit of a clean out inside. There's nothing worse than having a tumble dryer. I'll just show you this, just so you can see. You can see that there's quite a lot of fluff build up on the inside here, and even around some of the connections at the top. That's not ideal, especially when the job of a tumble dryer is to heat, and it's going to get quite warm in there. The purpose of this bit is just to disconnect the plug. So it can be a little bit stiff, that's it. And you just need to make sure you can feed it through. That's it. So just be careful of all the other connections, because you can find that some of these are quite delicate, so you don't want to damage them. And now that's released, now we can start to remove the back cover, because this is where the heating element is actually located. So all we're doing here is just going to remove this part at the back. Now yours might look a little bit different. On some of the later models, it had this. It's like a heat deflector. So if yours hasn't got it, don't worry. But all you need to do is just to remove all the screws from around the outside. So I've removed the 2 screws from inside there as well, and then that removes that plastic part. Then you've just got 2 final screws holding the cover and the element on. Then when you take the cover off of the back, just make sure that the cable comes through nice and neatly. Now it's quite a nice finish actually. It's not a very sharp finish, but nevertheless, just make sure when you take it through, it comes through nice and cleanly. And now we've got access to the heating element itself. You just want to release the cable clip there. That's just holding the cables in place. And turn it over. And all we need to do now is just got a couple of screws, remove those, and then that will remove the heater from the back plate. And once you've removed the 2 screws from that side, just carefully turn it over, and then that just removes the element. Now it's at this point where you need to check to make sure that the new one you bought is the same as the old one, and this looks pretty similar. I know some of the colour of the cables could be slightly different, but overall that looks pretty good. So let's pop this in place here. It just takes a moment to align everything, just to make sure that the screw holes are aligned together. And then once you've done that, just turn it back over, and the 2 little screws, so make sure it's those screws that you just took out. Try and get those in focus because they really are tiny. pop those back in just to get the heating element back into place. Once you've screwed the new element into place, then you have got this little plastic clip here. I have taken the old one out, so just use some pliers just to remove the old clip. Once that's out, then you'll see you've got a hole there, and all this does, that just pushes into place like that. So that just keeps the cables in place for when we're going to put it back in a moment. Now this is a great opportunity just to clean inside your tumble dryer. As you can see, there's some fluff in here. Now I suppose what I should have done while I took the element out, give it a quick brush. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to take this back out because this is a tumble dryer that's going to be used. So I'm just going to take the element back out, give it a quick brush around, and then start to put it back together. So what I've done at the back here is I've just given this a brush down and a quick wipe down as well, just to get rid of any fluff or lint that's on the back here. Always just a great opportunity. You'll just find that what you don't want to do is start putting things back together and putting it back together dirty. So now I've done that, then we can start to get the tumble dryer back together to hopefully make sure it works. First thing you need to do, just feed the cable through and then pop all the screws back in. So just make sure that any of the cables there are not caught up within the screws. So I'm just going to put all the screws back in and then we're ready to go, hopefully. Once you've got the panel screwed on the back, then just turn it round, and all you'll see is that we just need to connect these two back together. So just make sure that goes in the right way first of all. That's it. So that just connects in like that, and once you've done that, then just give it a quick vacuum in there. Just give it a quick brush round. So I've given this quite a good wipe round, and I've got the vacuum cleaner on it a little bit. I'm going to get the vacuum on it a little bit more because there's still a bit of residue in here. But as I mentioned earlier, it's just a good opportunity just to get it all cleared out inside, because the last thing you want to do is to create any more issues, especially while you've got the side off. Then when you've done that and it's nice and clean, then just relocate the panel. So you'll see there are some lugs at the bottom. Relocate it and then just align. That's it. So just align everything up so it's nice and straight, and then just get one of the screws. So I'd recommend just popping the top screw in first and then just putting all the screws in that you've taken out. So once you've got all the screws in the back and you've got the screw located at the front, then we're ready to put the top back on. Now everything's just in reverse, so don't forget we had to pull it back a little bit. So all you want to do is just to locate it on the top, and it is a little bit fiddly. That's it. So once it's in place, then you just give it basically a nudge like that. So don't worry about damaging it. These are really strong, these Hotpoint and Indesit lids. And then once it's in place, so just make sure it's located at the front as well. And then the two screws that you took out, first of all, we're just going to pop those back in. So now I've got the lid back on, it's all back and ready to go. This is the moment of truth. So I've just put a towel in there. It's quite a damp towel. I suppose this is a really good one just to check to make sure it's working or not. But I know it's going to take a while to dry, but all I want to do is just see if there's any heat generated, because clearly with the old element, this one here, clearly that's seen better days now. With that element there was just no heat from it whatsoever, and when the drum was turning then it was just completely cold. But let's see. Oh lovely, it is warm, which means we have success. I hope this video has been useful for you, showing you how to change a heating element on your Hotpoint or Indesit tumble dryer. Please give us a thumbs up, click subscribe on my YouTube channel. I would appreciate that, and leave any comments below. I'd always ask for comments, whether it's good or bad about the video. If you came here looking at something and if I've not covered it, or if you've got a question about the changing the element, then just let me know, pop it in the comments. Also, if you have done it, if it was useful for you, I'd always appreciate the feedback, because it's always good for future videos, and any feedback I receive, I do take it on board. Anyway, Thanks for joining me today.